What is up, you guys? It's your girl Gabby, and I'm back with another video. Woo, woo, woo. You guys have me, but your girl is back, and today I'm here with something just a little different. Got a little mukbang for y'all today, and a little story time. So y'all get your chopsticks, get your liquor, get your wings. I'm just kidding, but we about to tap on in, y'all. And your girl got, oh y'all, I broke my chopsticks. But cause your girl got a story to tell today, and today I got some, my ramen didn't cool down. Got me some ramen, some fruit, and some wings. Let me get a bite of this. One thing I love is some noodles. But before I get started, let's go ahead and like up this video, subscribe to this channel, and let your girl know what your favorite meal is, because you guys, we're mukbanging today, and I am so excited to dig into this food. So let's get into it. So y'all, where do I start? So, well, I'm gonna start on my ramen because I already did. So I was talking to this guy. Well, first of all, I'll start where my best friend, she went to USF. This is gonna be a challenge because I love to eat. But my best friend, she graduated from UCF, I'm sorry, and I would go to Orlando to go visit her. And this story actually coattails off of another story, but I'm not gonna tell that story. I was there for another reason, but those plans ended up going to shit. So I ended up hanging out with my friend, and we went out for drinks with some other girls. And so we ended up going to this club called Wall Street. I want to say that's what it's called. It's like a strip of beer, a strip of bars. And so we went to Wall Street. We're having like a really good time, and we're actually like really drunk when we're tore up. And so we went to this one bar, and these group of guys walk in, and so they were trying to talk to us, whatever. And literally the guys, like one of them actually like asked if he could like kiss my feet. I let him kiss my feet, y'all. But yeah, so me and the guy, we ended up like chit chatting. We danced a little bit, and so he asked me for my number. So I gave him my number, and we actually was texting for like weeks and weeks and weeks after that. Like when I went back to Tallahassee, we still was talking. So he was like, I really want to see you. I really got to see you again. Like, this has to happen. And so I planned another trip specifically to go see him. Now, mind you, when we're texting, he's like, I got my own car, I got my own house, I got this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, bet. Like, this should be nice. So I go to my friend's house, and I unload all my stuff. Like, I'm chilling. I'm sort of vibing with her because I haven't linked up with him yet. So I'm texting him, and I'm like, hey, like, what's up? Like, what's the plan? And so he's like, yeah, like, let's go out to eat tonight. Let's go get some hookah. So just like a little date night. So I'm like, okay, bet. Like, it sounds super fun. So I get ready. My friend, I want to say, I don't know if she stayed home or what, but like I said, I was going down there for my own agenda anyway. So she sort of was doing her own thing, and I was doing my own thing. So after that, we text, we link up, and mind you, like, I've been to Orlando like a few times by myself at this point, so I know the area. And I pull up to this hookah lounge that was like sort of in this plaza. Like, it wasn't like nothing fancy at all. And so like I'm waiting for him, and I'm like texting him like, hey, like where you at? Cause I remember him telling me like he drove like a Benz or like a BMW or something like that. So I'm like, hey, like I'm here, like where are you? I don't see you anywhere. But mind you, when I'm sitting in the parking lot like texting him, I see across from me like a car that's on, like somebody that's waiting for somebody. So I'm like, I wonder if this is him. So So I'm like looking at the car because it's not a BMW, not a Benz. It's like a 4-door like SUV or like van or something. So I'm like, where are you? So he's texting me, he's like, I'm here. And I'm like, where are you? Because I don't see you. I don't see your car. And he's like, wait, is this you in front of me with your car lights on? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Is this you across from me with your car lights on? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, well, first of all, red flag number 1, because I'm like,
hey, that's a bullshit.
This isn't what you told me you drove. You know, whatever. So, of course, I'm trying to make the best out of this trip because I didn't travel to Orlando, which honestly isn't too far from Tallahassee. It's like 3 hours. So it really wasn't nothing for me, but it's still like, you know, I took time out to travel here to spend time with you. So, he hops out the car and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I thought you drove, Like, I think I mentioned it. I'm not quite sure. But I want to say, like, he said he left his car or something like that. Or, like, his car was in the shop or some, like, weird excuse. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not going to ask no more questions. So we go inside. We were smoking hookah for a little bit, like, having a really good time vibing. Because I didn't, like, brush it off. I'm like, okay, whatever. And, let me try these wings. I'm doing all this and I forgot a napkin. But so yeah, so like the guys, like we're having like a good time, we're vibing, and he's like, you know, do you want to do something else? Because we started to get like a little bored. It wasn't like a club, it was like strictly just like a legit hookah lounge. So we was talking for a little bit and it was sort of loud, so it was like, you know, let's go somewhere else. So we ended up like leaving. I want to say we went to like a restaurant, and we went to a restaurant, and then he was like, hey, like, do you want to go back to my house? We could, you know, vibe, you know, chill a little bit, whatever. So I'm like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little on edge because I'm like, okay, you already lied about your car. Not only that, but you drive like a big car, so it's like you never know what that could be about. So me being me, like at this time, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I have taken so many risks in my life, and you know, I'm blessed and fortunate enough to have made it out of a lot of crazy situations. But just a disclaimer, do not ever do what I did. Don't link with somebody, you know.
Really, nigga?
It's okay with meeting up with people, but make sure you telling people where you are. Make sure, like, if somebody shows up in a different freaking car or not show up as somebody that you thought they were, scat. You know what I'm saying? Like, scat. Luckily, this wasn't that type of situation, but this was definitely a crazy situation. So I was like, yeah, of course, like, let's go to your house. That's cool. We hightailed it over to his place, and he drove a minivan at this time. I don't think I followed him. I can't remember if I left my car at the hookah lounge or if I rode with him. But I just remember us going to his house. So when we pulled into his neighborhood, it was like a trailer park area. So we pulled up to this trailer park, and before we even got inside, he's like,
hey, I'm just gonna let you know that there's at least 10 to like 15 Hondurans that I smuggled into the States.
And so I'm like,
Another one.
thinking that like he's joking. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just really like, let's just go inside so I can see what he's talking about. So when we walk inside, we walk in, and like to the right hand side is like a bedroom, and then to like straight ahead, sort of off to the left, is like a really small like kitchen area, and then it's like a sheet, like literally like a bed sheet, hanging across the room, like where you can't see the other half of the room. And he was like, "You see that sheet right there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "They're behind there." And so I'm like, "You're kidding." And he was like, "Shh, be quiet." So when we got quiet, I could hear a bunch of people like sort of muffling, like almost as if like they were in the house, but like almost like they were behind the door, like in another section. So I was just like, I didn't know how to feel, but I was like, what am I getting myself into? Like, and I can't believe I'm freaking here. Like, what is going on? So I'm like, I'm literally with a man that smuggles Hondurans for a living. And I don't even want to use the term smuggle, because like he wasn't kidnapping them, but he was just getting them over here. And like I don't think they were US citizens. So I was just sort of like, wow. We went off and chilled with like in his room area, his area, and I'm gonna take a shot for this part. And I just remember specifically like hopping on the bed, like, and I put my hand back, and I felt like my hand sort of went up under his pillow, and I'm thinking like it's this remote, so like I pulled it, and it was like a gun. So I'm like, what the freak? Because like I don't like guns. I don't like guns. I feel like everybody should protect themselves, but I don't like touching them. I don't want them like around me. I don't want them pointing at me. I don't want you playing with them around me. Like, that's how I am. So I was freaked out. And I'm like, okay, like in my mind, I'm like, okay, like things just keep getting a little bit crazier and crazier. And next thing I know, this boy's gonna have me like tied up and kidnapped. So I'm sort of like on edge now, and I'm like, hey, like what's this? And he's like, oh, like don't worry about it, like don't trip, I'm gonna put it up, So I'm like, okay. So he puts up the gun, and you know, again, I sort of brushed it on the rug. So I'm like, okay, like we ended up vibing, like surprisingly, we ended up vibing and having a great time, a wonderful time. He was super cool. We literally just had so much fun the rest of the night, like drinking. I know we went back out again to go get food and drinks. But the moral of the story is I was literally in this house with like 10 plus smuggled Hondurans, like stashed in a safe house. And it was really crazy. Like, it was really freaking crazy. And personally, I think he was probably like a major liar, clearly. But like he was super cool, and we stayed in contact. Like after that day, I ended up going back home, or going back to my friend's house. I spent the rest of the weekend with her, and I headed back home. And then we talked a little bit after, but I want to say I wasn't like a really long distance type of person, so I ended up like, you know, going on about my life. And oddly enough, a few weeks after the last time he hit me up, I went on social media, and one of his friends had followed me on Instagram, and I saw him make a post, and he was basically like giving his condolences to the guy that I had hung out with. And he had passed away, fortunately, to gun violence. He was shot down at a club in Orlando. and pronounced dead on the scene. So rest in peace to him. I'm not gonna say his name, but rest in peace to him. I wouldn't have changed that experience for anything in the world. It was a really good time, and I'm gonna take a shot to him because I couldn't believe it, y'all. What the he never was inappropriate with me. He never made me feel uncomfortable, except for the fact that, like, you rolled up in the car that was not the car that you said. You live in a house full of Hondurans. Who knows what else he was lying about, but that's not the point. The point is, I had a great experience. And that's a memory that I'm going to remember forever, because I think that's one of the craziest things that I've probably done in my life. So yeah, shot to him. Woo! Yeah. So, sorry you guys, excuse me. But I love y'all, and I will see y'all next time. Don't forget to tune in for my next video. Go ahead and press the like button and subscribe to your girl's channel. I love y'all oh so much. I'll see y'all next time.